If you're watching this video, chances are you'd like to learn a little bit more about logging software. So, what is log file or logging software? Simply put, logging is the act of keeping a log. In other words, log filing is software that records events that occur in an operating system. So for example, when something like a document gets saved on your computer, or a new user is added, or when a program or computer is shut down. These are all examples of events that could be recorded by a log file program. So why exactly is this important? Mostly for security purposes. If you watch the news at all, you know that just about anything is getting hacked these days. With log filing software, you can check to make sure that everything is running as expected. And if it's not, you know to check the unexpected issue. Knowing that a problem is happening as soon as possible is crucial to stopping a hack in progress and can end up saving you a lot of time and money. Also, events can be recorded with precise timestamps, meaning that you can review the logs and note if something is happening when it shouldn't be. Like say, a recently fired employee signing in after business hours? Yeah, better check that out. In this video, we'll be explaining 3 different log file programs that are open source and free, meaning that if you'd like to learn more on your own, these are great starting points. Our 3 examples are Graylog2, Logstash, and Ossec. Enjoy.
Welcome. The first logging software we're going to talk about today is Graylog2. Here's the web interface for Graylog2. Let's first take a look at the system overview. Right here is kind of the notification center. It'll tell you if anything's going on, if a node has stopped collecting. If I go down a little bit, I can see the traffic in the last 30 days. This is how much we've collected. And if I hover over the tile, it's going to show you how much you've collected each day. If I go down a little bit further, I'll see some stuff about time configuration. Time is very important, especially with logging. If you have an event go on, you definitely want to be able to go back and look at a specific time frame and see what really happened. Let's take a look at the node. This is the node that I have set up. I called it Ubuntu 1. Right now we can see that currently it is running and it is processing messages. Now we can check out the inputs. I've set up a few inputs already. Currently I have 1 input running. So let's take a look at the messages it's giving us. Here we can see some of the logging messages coming in. Let's set it to update every 5 seconds. And let's also change the fields so we can see what we want. So as you can see, the fields did change. I can see the event type, the IP address, and the port now. If I click on one of these logs, it'll give me even more information into what this log file consists of. Can always close it back up. Up here is the histogram, so this will tell you minute by minute, or hour by hour, or day by day. So the cool thing about this is you can actually export this into a dashboard. I do have a dashboard set up for this collection here. So by the minute would be important because it'll show you if there's a network attack going on. You can look at a specific time and see what happened. Hour by hour I think is useful because you'll be able to see the peak time on your network. And then I think the weekly ones would be important for tracking if you're getting more users on your network, and from there you can scale your network better. Here's an example of somebody that set up a dashboard. They were really able to tune everything into what they want to see. You can even see the top users on your network. So I recommend coming to the Graylog webpage and just taking a look and seeing if it's the right logging software for you. I think it has a lot to offer, and it is a very intensive program. Thank you.
Welcome everyone to Ossec. Ossec is an open source, completely free file integrity monitoring software. It's multi-platform. Does a lot more than just do file checks, which I'll explain to you later. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. Build number is 2.9. I'll give you about blog, documentation, and download section. Let's just jump right into documentation. Documentation on their website is pretty thorough. Anything you need will be on here most likely. Everything that I needed to install it was on here, no problems. previous builds, manual, installation, and so on, and any questions you may have. So let's get started with Ossec. Let's go through some key benefits, key features. Like I said, it's all real time. You can configure alerts for active response. Like I said before, it's multi-platform. There's plenty of things you can get it on. Centralized management, agent and agentless monitoring. So agents such as you want to monitor a syslog of Windows Server, you can. Agentless monitoring, you can have one of your switches send syslog messages to your Ossec server. Pretty neat. Like I said, just regular file integrity checking, log monitoring, and rootkit detection and active response. These two you can actually, in the installation, choose whether you want them or not, so it takes less time to install. So that's, whatever you want, you can choose what you want, so which is really nice. Moving on to the installation documentation page, just as thorough as the regular documentation section. Anything you need should be on here, including other types of agents you need to set up with Ossec. So moving on to downloads, as you can see, there's a web interface you can install and download and set up. You have your server / agent for Ossec, whether you want it to just be a local host or a server. You have your Windows agent for Windows Server, and so on. You also have other downloads for CentOS, Fedora, and so on. Moving on to the actual web interface, this is what it looks like. This is just the main page. As you can see, level, rule ID, and the location. As you can see, log was rotated, file was rotated. There's a problem somewhere in the system. New user added this system. Their password was changed, and so on, and their information was changed. So that's all that. Gives you a level, a rule ID, and location for all of that. You can search for a certain day that you want to monitor, so on. Integrity checking, this is all for the agents. In case an agent has a problem, you can check that. Statistics, same thing. You can search day, month, and year. Gives you the total number of alerts, along with the hours, so you can see peak times during the day. But now, if you don't like this setup, this web interface, you can actually use some other ones, such as Alien Vaults, Log Management System, just another web interface you can use. Plenty of people use it. Most people use this. It's just really nice. Also, other than this, you can also use Analogy, which is another like third-party web interface that you can set up, and there's documentation for it. This is what the web page would look like. As you can see, there's a difference between that and this. So depending on what you like, but Ossec is compatible with other different types of web interfaces.
Today I will be talking about Logstash. Logstash is an open source log file collection software created by the people of Elastic. Logstash is typically paired with Elasticsearch and Kibana, creating the Elk stack. The Elk stack is commonly used for centralized logging. The implementation of Elk stack requires some work and many additional products for it to be effective. The pipeline for the Elk stack goes like this. Their so-called beats agents will collect the data and send it to Logstash, which will then aggregate and process the data, and then goes through Elasticsearch, which indexes the data and stores it. Kibana is the web interface that will visualize the logs that are indexed by Elasticsearch. Users will be able to create bar, line, and scatter plots, or pie charts and maps on top of data. As you can see here, the website has many products available, but for now we're only going to focus on Elasticsearch, Kibana, and Logstash. When we take a look at Elasticsearch here, it gives you an idea of what Elasticsearch does. If we go back and take a look at Kibana, it'll do the exact same thing, and it basically gives you a tour of the Kibana website, or the web interface that it'll provide you with. So as you can see, you can make a bunch of charts regarding your data, and it'll analyze the relationships with using like graphs, and you can explore anomalies with machine learning. Then when we go back to Logstash, it also does the same exact thing. It'll show you what Logstash does, which is basically it takes all of the log file data and it'll process all of that data and send it through Elasticsearch. When we look under the Learn page, there's some documentation on the Elk stack and how to install the Elk stack, as well as how to use everything that the Elk stack offers. Even though the website has all of this documentation, you can easily search the web for some step-by-step instructions on how to install the Elk stack. And if we go back to the products page and scroll down a little bit, you can see that there's a visualization of the pipeline on how it all works. Here. So as you can see, it goes from the beats and Logstash up to Elasticsearch, and Elasticsearch will allow you to search all of the log files. Here's what Kibana looks like in practice. This is with an Elk server setup using Ubuntu server. And as you can see here, you can create new visualizations, area charts, data tables, line charts, or open saved ones that you've used in the past. And if we look at here, I'm indexing FileBeat. And you can also use all these different beat agents here, and you'll basically just install it on the client.
So there you have it. In this introduction to log filing, we explained what it is that logging software does and 3 different programs you can use to learn more about on your own. Again, these 3 programs are Graylog2, Logstash, and Ossec. They all have free versions if you'd like to check them out, and we've included links to their websites in the details below. Thank you for watching.